Hey everybody, today we're going to make a pixel art maker. This is Alan Code. I'm with Grow with Google. I'm a student leader and just wanted to go from start to finish on the pixel art maker. Instead of having something you could read, I decided let's just make a video. So let's get started. Also, sorry about if I have a little bit of a sound kind of weird. I just got 2 teeth pulled 2 days ago, so I'm just gonna already have it downloaded. So I'm just gonna assume that you already have it downloaded and ready to go. So when you read through here, basically tells you to look at the index and see what it does first. So let's take a look. Pull it up. Okay, so we have our pixel art maker here, and when we submit, nothing happens, but the color picker works. So this is what they give you to start out with. So we're gonna check out here, and so let's see. They give us a table here with ID pixel canvas. We have an input with a color picker and an ID of color picker, and then a form with the ID of size picker. Okay, so we already have those set up. So let's close this. We're going to open up all these right over here. And then, okay, so we're here and with our index.html, and I'm using Go Live for VS Code. It's just live server. You can actually just download live server and run it. It's pretty awesome. So we're going to just go on our index.html and hit Go Live. And there we go. There's our pixel art maker, and this actually will change every time we do a change. So and we can get rid of this. Okay, so then we have our 3 files. We have this set up. We have our page set up, and we have our developer tool set up here. So first, we're going to take a look at the JS file. Okay, so select color input, select size input. When size is submitted, call make grid. So here it says define your variables. Okay, so define your variables by selecting the DOM elements for the user that the user will interact with. It says jQuery here, but I'm just going to use vanilla JavaScript because I like vanilla JavaScript. So let's say let color. This will be a color variable. We could use a variable, but I'm used to using let, so let's use let. We could actually use const here, but let color equal document get element by ID, and this was color picker. Okay, and then the submit button and table. Okay, let table equal document, and this was our table is a pixel canvas. Okay, and then we need the form ID size picker. Okay, so we have those 3 things there. Those are our variables that we need to use. So let's do a test real quick. Let's say size picker. let's add an event listener. Say click. Okay, so what I'm doing here is using this size picker. We're going to add an event listener for clicking, and the mouse movement, mouse event, the event that's going through here. We're going to just say console.log e. Okay. Oops. Okay, so the reason it's going through here is when you hit the submit button on a form, it automatically refreshes. So we're just going to go here and type in e.event default. And then we should be able to submit. Oh, look, it says right there. So when we tested it, it's popping up the mouse event and it's saying test. So let's take off that e-prevent default. See what happens. Okay. So it won't show up there because it's submitting the form and then refreshing. That's why we want to put event prevent default, because the default for this is to do that. Submit the form. So I'm sorry I'm talking back and forth and going. I'm just thinking about this in my head. I just have my teeth pulled, so I'm just trying to go slowly. For height and width, height equals document get element by ID. What IDs do we have? For form is input height and input width. Weight. Yes, so we'll just leave it at weight. So height will be input height. Leave that there. And weight. The width. And it says width. So then let's see. Let's console.log the height and the width. Probably should be. We need the value. That value and 1 and 1. Look at that. 2, 3. Okay. So now let's do color. We have the color picker value, so let's see what console.log color.value. So when you .value, it's the form value. 0, 0, 0. So pink submit. Oh, look, it shows the value of what we're clicking. So our document LNID color picker, our value is whatever we put in here. And then we have that. Good. So we have our height and our width and our color. So we can actually just get rid of all this. And here we're going to make a grid once we click on that. So our make grid function, what do we need to do here? Well, first, whatever input, height and width, so height and width, sorry. So those are going to be our parameters. Console.log height. And here we're going to make grid. so we have our height and width here in our function makeGrid. So let's just make a table real quick with our function. Let's just make the most basic one. So we're going to say let row equal, we're just going to make a row, and we did have the table up here, which is pixel canvas, so table dot insert row. Okay, so we're making rows here. Every time we click submit, it makes a row. Table insert row. So now, how are we going to make a row and columns every time we hit submit? Okay, so we're back. We're going to insert rows and insert columns the most basic way possible. So we're going to say let row equal table insert row. And we're going to put it the 0 index, and then let's say let cell equal row dot insert cell 0 here. Oh, look, we have one now. Okay, so we made a row and a cell. So how are we going to make all the rows and cells that we select in here? Because if we choose 2 and 2, we can make it continues to make them because it just keeps making rows and cells no matter what the input is here, because that's what our function does right now. So let's go in here, and first, since we're just making it, let's go when we're clicking on the original button, we need to remove all this stuff that we're adding on. So we're going to say table and first child, since the first child would be once we make it, first child is going to be the body, the table body, and we're going to say remove. Nope, not remove child, just remove. Okay, so every time we submit, it can't remove it because there's nothing there because it didn't make one yet. Okay, so let's make just to test it, let's add in the index file, let's add a table body, and then let's add a table row real quick, and then go over here, and then every time we click, it should remove. It removes it and then it makes it. Okay, since it had one to begin with, it doesn't make any more. Okay, so that's good. That's what we need. I'm going to actually go back here. Get rid of that. We're going to go ahead and just make a default grid. So make grid, height, width, and let's see what that does. Nothing because we don't have height and width. So we need to define height. Oh, it should make, there you go. So it makes the basic grid for us at the very beginning with just one. But this is not actually making a grid. This is just making one table row. So then when we submit it, it deletes it. Okay, that's correct. That's what we need. Okay, so to get all of this, we're going to have to use a for loop. So we're going to comment that out and comment this. So for I, let I equal 0, and then we're going to say I is less than or equal to height. If I is less than or equal to height, then it will continue to go, then I plus plus. And then in here, we're going to say let row equal table dot insert row, and then we're going to use I. So it will make, for every height that we send in, it will go all the way up to, and it'll make a row for every. So let's see how this works. Let's make the height 6. And let's see. There we go. It's making them. So it doesn't show it because we don't have a cell. So inside this for loop, we need another for loop for the cells. Less than or equal to, say, width J plus plus. And then we're going to say let cell equal row dot insert, oops, cell, and then J. So let's see how that looks. Hey, look at that. 4, 4. Oops, that is not correct. What did we do wrong? Width and our height, and it's creating a grid for us. And I had to change this to table first element child because it was actually not deleting the correct one. It was deleting the first child, which is not what we wanted it to do. It was still leaving the one there we had created by default. So now it's deleting it every time we make one, and it's making a new one for us. But now when we click, still nothing happens. So we have to go in here and we have to change the color somehow. So we already have our size, our color picker here. We already have our value once we hit value. So in here, very end, inside the for loop still, we're going to add event listeners to each cell. So let's say cell, add event listener, and we're going to add a click, and then prevent default, the element, the actual element that we're clicking. Oops. We made that wrong. Okay, so let's console.log and let's console.log what we're clicking. So let's see if this works. Alright, so mouse event, and it's telling us where we're clicking. So we got that good. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to change the color. So cell, we're going to use a style. Background color, we're going to add a background color. And we're going to say color.value. So it should work. There we go. Every time we submit it, we can change it. Change the color. Blue. There we go. Okay, so now we are every time so what we're doing is we're making a for loop, and it's making table rows for the height, and then we're using another for loop to make cells in those rows for the width. So then we add a event listener on top of each one of these, and every time we click on it, we're taking the cell and we're changing the style, background color, and we're doing color.value. So that is the color that we choose from here. And then we can submit it and it'll start over and we can pick a color. Okay, so this actually completes everything just with 48 lines of code. Let's clean it up a little bit. I have a lot of log statements in here. We'll leave that in there. And submit. We can actually take this. Okay, I think that's it. I'm sorry this isn't the best video in the world. I've been struggling with my tooth pain, so I've had to pause it quite a bit. If you have questions, let me know.